This special rebroadcast of the opening ceremonies of the U.S. Olympic Festival on OETA is made possible by Southwestern Bell Telephone, the Samuel Roberts Noble Foundation, the Daily Oklahoman and Sunday Oklahoman, IGA, Kerr-McGee Corporation, Stiefel Nicholas and Company, Homeland, Oklahoma Natural Gas, KWTV Channel 9.
The U.S. Olympic Festival opening ceremonies. Oklahoma 89. With appearances by the Oak Ridge Boys, Roger Miller, Patty Page, Bob Hope, President Ronald Reagan, and 4,000 Olympic hopefuls and coaches. You're looking live at the campus of the University of Oklahoma in Norman. And you are looking at the beginning of the biggest sporting event in the history of Oklahoma, and we are higher than a kite, folks. How are you? Good evening. I'm Charlie Chase.
I'm Lori Ann Crook. You want to know how high we are? We are 7 stories above the field. I'm getting dizzy, so I'm going to turn around.
Ooh.
You know, it is a very big night for the thousands of athletes who gathered here to compete in the nation's largest multi-sport event of the year. And it's also a big night for America, too, since this event represents a major milestone in our nation's journey to the World Olympics in 1992.
And we at the National Network are very proud to be a part of this truly all-American sports tradition and to bring you live coverage of this spectacular event. All right, folks, here they come. They're coming right over the stadium now.
If you've never been in the middle of it, it is fantastic.
Here it
and
is.
The crowd is cheering.
That's the way to get it started. And that has brought this crowd to life, folks. 75,000 from Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. Let's join the field for the opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the opening ceremonies of the 1989 U.S. Olympic Festival. To begin our program in true Olympic spirit, we pay tribute to the competitive goals inspired by the words of the Olympic motto, faster, higher, stronger.
Faster, faster, running the race with the wind. Higher, higher, my heat of the cold is about to begin. Stronger, stronger, lifting the weight for the glory in store. Faster, higher, stronger.
There are two huge circles on the field, and they are going to land smack dab in the middle of those circles. Once again, the crowd is cheering.
And he makes the landing on the 21-yard line. How's that? And I tell you, that's a difficult feat considering some of the Oklahoma wind we've had here the past few days.
Hey, look at them. They are battling the winds, but these are experts, and they are landing right where they belong.
Jimmy came right over the press box from us here. You see this?
Well, and one of the things we should point out, Lorianne and Charlie, is the smoke bomb. They use that to help them determine the wind direction so they can pinpoint their landing. Spectacular.
On a 17. Great job, guys. The dance team, by the way, you saw, is a result of auditions from across the state, resulting in a team of 229, and they did a wonderful job.
Ah, yeah. Best dancers in Oklahoma, bringing the frontier spirit to our show.
Now the band is about ready to come on the field. They'll be performing here shortly, and it's starting to cool off here just a little bit. It's been pretty hot out here on the plains.
We are lucky because usually this time of year the heat is almost unbearable in Oklahoma, but we do have a cool breeze blowing, which I think everyone is kind of relieved.
Saluting Oklahoma's role in America's westward expansion, here is the U.S. Olympic Festival All-Star High School Marching Band.
To the U.S. Olympic Festival All-Star Marching Band, 240 strong, the best in Oklahoma.
The U.S. Olympic Festival All-Star Marching Band on the field here in Norman, Oklahoma, under the direction of Kenneth Dye. The theme of their program tonight, Frontier Spirit, dedicated to Oklahoma's westward expansion of America.
Ladies and gentlemen, the U.S. Olympic Festival All-Star High School Marching Band. Sharing the great pride that the U.S. Olympic Festival brings to Oklahoma, many of our most celebrated sons and daughters are with us tonight. From far and wide, they have come to enjoy these opening ceremonies with all of you, and to help make this event a great Oklahoma homecoming. So let's give a great home state welcome to gold record recording artists from Doherty, Oklahoma, K-Star. Broadway performer and star of All My Children, from Lawton, Oklahoma, Candace Early. Grammy Award-winning vocalist from Blanchard, Oklahoma, Jody Miller. Distinguished actor from Yukon, Oklahoma, Dale Robertson. Broadcast journalist, former Miss Oklahoma and former Miss America, from Laverne, Oklahoma, Jane J. Rowe. Motion picture star and Emmy Award-winning actor from Norman, Oklahoma, James Garner. Let's have a rousing hand for each of these great Oklahoma stars. And now, please welcome another great Oklahoman, one of America's finest entertainers from Claremore, Oklahoma, Miss Patti Page.
If you're fond of sand dunes and salty air, quaint little villages here and there, you're sure to fall in love with old Cape Cod. That old Cape Cod. If you like the taste of a lobster stew, served by a window with an ocean view, you're sure to fall in love with old Cape Cod. Winding roads that seem to beckon you, miles of green beneath the sky of blue, church bells chiming on a Sunday morning remind you of the town where you were born. If you spend an evening you want to stay, watching the moonlight on Cape Cod Bay, you're sure to fall in love with old Cape Cod. You're sure to fall in love with old Cape Cod. And I've been. Thank you. And may I also say it is a pleasure for me to be here with all of you tonight and share this wonderful evening. Getting right along with it, here's one of the first songs I ever recorded. Well, you took me to the city, bought me clothes and things. Yes, you took me to the city, bought me diamond rings. But I forgot to tell you, your queenie don't like him. I'm going back to Oklahoma, back to my old hometown. Yes, back to Oklahoma, back to my old playground, where folks all take it easy and never race around. Got a house and an auto, got a dog and baby chicks, 11 in my family, don't need you to get my kicks. Going back to Oklahoma, back to my hometown, where folks all take it easy and never race around. Cincinnati and Milwaukee, every time we've had a date. Once in New York City, you were 2 weeks, 6 days late. That's all, baby, baby, that's all for now. I'm going back to Oklahoma, where folks don't race around. First I'm going to Chicago, sorry, but I can't take you. I'm going to Chicago, sorry, but I can't take you. There ain't nothing in Chicago a man like you could do. When you see me coming, baby, raise your window high. When you see me coming, baby, come on and raise your window high. And when you see me passing, hang your head and cry. Now hurry down, sunshine, let's see what tomorrow brings. Yes, hurry down, sunshine, let's see what tomorrow brings. 'Cause when the sun goes down take it easy. Gonna take it easy. I'm gonna take it easy and never race around.
One of the great stars from here in Oklahoma. You know, she has the second best-selling song in American history, the Tennessee Waltz. Are you a waltzer?
Not anymore. But you know what else? One of her best songs was How Much Is That Doggy in the Window, right? And a lot of people think that that was sung by Doris Day, but it wasn't. It was Patti Page. How about the band that she brought with her?
Oh, I know.
Incredible. You know, this lady in her career has sold over 60 million records.
Well, let's catch the final part of the song here. She had a little extra. Back to Patti. Quite a performer, Patti Page. 1950 to 1965, every single she released was charted.
Incredible singer. The crowd loves her. You know, I don't think that I have been very often in a crowd of 75,000 people. And the roar is really deafening here.
Oh, I know. Ready for a little bit of a touch of Nashville. Here's a guy who grew up in Eric, Oklahoma. He's returning home to perform. Let's go down to the field and join the king of the road, Mr. Roger Miller.
Glad to see you. I say hello, Oklahoma, because I know we're all here tonight. Ain't nobody watching the store. Boy, I'm always glad. I knew I was in Oklahoma when I stepped out and got a gnat in my eye. Boy, oh boy. I think this is the first time I've got to come back to Oklahoma in quite a while when I wasn't looking for a job chopping cotton about this time of year. This is a big event, and we're happy to be a part of it. And happy that Norman and OU could be a part of it here. I've seen lots of friends around today. Well, I'm just stalling a little bit till we tune up and play some of this intricate music of mine. I call my music Cotton Patch Blues. So we're going to do a couple of Cotton Patch Blues. Marty, have you got it ready there? This is called stretching. I thought I'd come out and electrify you for a couple of minutes while they tuned up. I just wanted to ask one thing. Is it true in Oklahoma that they think when they die they go to Heavener? I'd like to say hello to Beckham County. I figure Beckham County's watching, all the people down in Eric. And I got kin folks down in Pontotoc County, so hello down there. Down in Ada and Allen, Stonewall down in there. Glad to see all of you. I think we're ready to pick, guys. Here's a song I wrote one night. It goes like this. Trailers for sale or rent. No phone, no food, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes, but 2 hours of pushing broom buys an 8x12 4-bit broom. I'm a man of means, mind of means, king of the road. Dirt boxcar, midnight train, destination Bangor, Maine. Oh, worn out suit and shoes. I don't pay no union dues. I smoke old stogies I have found. Short but not too big around. I'm a man of means, mind of means, the king of the road. I know every engineer on every train, all their children and all of their names, and every handout in every town. And every locked, it ain't locked when no one's around. I sing trailers for sale, rooms to let 50 cents. cigarettes, but 2 hours of pushing broom buys an 8x12 4-bit broom. I'm a man of means by no means, the king of the road, the king of the road. Well, I'm the king of the road. Thank you so much. I'd like to do a song. I'll have to get my guitar around here and put this on. Thank you, Marty Stewart, helping me back there. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. It's good to see all of you at once. It really is. My goodness, my wife and baby are here, standing up over there trying to see Daddy long distance. I wish I could visit with all of you. I'll have to come back in Oklahoma and just sit around and bat the breeze. But I'm gonna have to get out of the way here in a minute. I gotta figure how to put this sucker on. There it is. Don't want to be too slick with this performance, you know. I can't wait to get up in the morning and milk some cows. That's great. Yes, sirree. I'd like to dedicate this to my daddy, who's not longer with us, but this was written about him. Well, here I sit high, getting ideas. Ain't nothing but a fool to live like this. Out all night, running wild. Home sitting home with a month-old child. Dang me, dang me. They ought to take a rope and hang me high from the highest tree. Woman, would you weep for me? One more time. Just sitting around with the rest of the guys. 6 rounds bought and I bought 5. Spent the groceries and half the rent, like $14, having 27 cents. Dang me, dang me. Now to take a rope and hang me high from the highest tree. Woman, would you weep for me? One more time. Roses are red, violets are purple, sugar's sweet, and so is maple syrup. And I'm the 7th out of 7 sons. I'm a Baptist pistol, I'm a son of a gun. Well, dang me, whoa, dang me. Hey, they ought to take a rope and hang me high from the highest tree. Woman, would you weep for me? Thank you, everybody. We love you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Roger Miller.
Escorting the East team, here is one of the greatest players in baseball history. Ladies and gentlemen, Mickey Mantle. Winner of the Heisman Trophy at Oklahoma University in 1953, Billy Vessel.
The athletes are beginning to make their entrance into the stadium here in Norman, Oklahoma. Mickey Mantle is leading the East team as they have made their appearance, and they're all being introduced by one of the greatest sportscasters of all time, Kurt Gowdy, who's now on the field.
Leonard Hamilton.
Leonard Hamilton, the Oklahoma State head basketball coach. You know, Kurt Gowdy was quite a basketball player, Charlie, and Lorianne at the University of Wyoming.
The athletes and officials of the East team.
know, Jim, in looking at your preview of the coverage coming up on ESPN for the next week, I was surprised at how young a lot of these people are, especially the basketball players.
Well, a lot of the basketball players, most of the basketball players, in fact, are still in high school. You've got some incoming freshmen and some sophomores, as you saw on the preview. But we've got some great basketball players here. The gold medal game will be on Wednesday night, talking about the University of Wyoming and a great basketball player, Kurt Gowdy. And, you know, Charlie and Lorianne, as you're watching the parade of athletes here, it's quite an emotional moment for the 4,000 athletes that are here. All of the teams are being preceded by the state flags of the areas that they represent. And two of the East team's athletes have played against each other many times in the past. Megan McCarthy and Debbie Belkins are close friends who are glad to finally be playing on the same team.
I'd say it's different than anything else because you get to see a lot more sports and you get to meet a lot of different athletes and what they go through with their sports, so it's very different.
Yeah, it's a group of athletes all training at a higher level, and I mean, they're real Olympic athletes, and soccer's not in the Olympics yet, but to just see other Olympic athletes is pretty exciting.
I would say the best part is just getting together with everyone and competing at a higher level.
And especially on our team, we have a lot of new players, and just meeting the team, and we're getting along great, and we're having a good time.
Members of the East team. The North team is waiting in the wings.
Well, Moms, we hope you saw that.
Now, Jim and I were talking earlier about how being an athlete is really a job, a profession, but not necessarily a 9-to-5 job.
Oh, there's no question about it. For members of the hockey teams that are representing the East and the West and the North and the South, they get up at 4:30 in the morning and they practice from 5:30 until 7, and then they go to class. Same thing with the other figure skaters. You know, you talk about some of the youngsters that are here. There's also a 51-year-old archerist, a lady champion that's here. So a lot of these are people that are married, that have full-time jobs. These are not just athletes that are hoping to get to the Olympics. For them, this U.S. Olympic Festival is their Olympics.
On the whole, Jim, do you think that here in America we begin training our athletes at an early enough age? I know in other countries they take them as really tots and start training them.
Lorianne, I think now that we do. I'm not sure that 2 decades ago that we did, but I think with the emergence of the U.S. Olympic Festival 11 years ago out in Colorado Springs, that now training techniques have changed dramatically. Health, medicine, nutrition, so important. The emergence of the Nautilus system in weight training. Obviously, we have learned a great deal from the East Germans and from the Soviets there, but we are starting our athletes out at a much more determined pace and at a much younger age.
And Jim, you may be wondering why they're gathering down on the fields, because there are no seats left in the stadium here. You know, it is completely sold out. 75,000 people on hand tonight here in Norman, Oklahoma, on a beautiful evening for the opening festivities for this 1989 Olympic Festival.
You know, they've done something unique this year. Usually, here comes the North team, by the way, and the crowd is once again on their feet and applauding. Something unusual they've done usually at past Olympic festivals. They have housed the athletes in different parts of the city. This year, most of the athletes are on campus in a regular Olympic festival village, and they're being taken care of very well here at the University of Oklahoma.
The greatest winner in the history of professional rodeo from Tulsa, Jim Shoulders.
Over on the left, that is Allie Reynolds, the New York Yankees great pitcher. Jim Shoulders, one of the greatest winners in the history of professional rodeo from Tulsa, alongside him. Then there's Bob Fenimore, the All-American tailback for Oklahoma State. Joe Washington, the former OU star and NFL great. And Bob Curlin, the two-time NCAA basketball champion and Olympic gold medalist.
Former OU gymnast.
And let's not leave out Kelly Garrison, as we knew her a few years ago at the Olympic Festival. Now, Kelly Garrison Steeves, the former OU gymnast and captain of the '88 U.S. women's gymnastic team. Again, those are all honorary escorts, and then the flags of the various states that those team members are representing.
Well, they are really fired up to be here.
You
There's
know,
no doubt
it looks
about it.
almost like party time out on the field.
It's getting that way.
Well, you know, archery has been an Olympic festival event since its beginning back in 1978. And one of the North team members, who is an archerist, set her sights on a gold medal when she took up the sport a few years ago. She's living proof you don't have to be a youngster to be an Olympic contender.
It's such a challenge to yourself. You're not really competing against anyone else. You're competing against yourself. And it's the challenge to do the same thing over and over and over. Even though you're not a machine, that's what you want to simulate as you shoot, because you have to do exactly the same thing over and over and over and over to be consistent with your shooting. It's the challenge of that that intrigues me. I think it's a thing that it can be done at all ages. We've got little kids 4, 5, and 6 compete, or not compete, well, some are competing, but just doing it for fun and pure enjoyment. And I'm 51 years old out here doing it and hope to do it for many years to come. So I think that's the thrill of it and the beauty of it, is it's a sport for all ages.
And there you see President Reagan's helicopter arriving. He will land and he'll come into the stadium, make about a 5-minute speech. He'll get back on the helicopter and leave. And right now, I'm not even sure the crowd is aware that he has entered the area.
Well, the field is beginning to fill up, not quite like the stadium is, but the 4,000 athletes are beginning to really make their presence known on the field here at Norman, Oklahoma. It's Owen Field at Oklahoma Memorial Stadium, and this is the 1989 Olympic Festival opening ceremonies. The North squad is continuing their trek around, and I think coming up next we'll be saying hello to the West team. And I think they're saving the noisiest reaction to last, don't you think, Jim?
Well, we might add here that the team members are really from that part of the country. The northern members are from the north. The West team, which is coming out right now, the members really are from the West.
Yeah, okay. I think we'll join Kurt Gowdy, and he'll introduce some of the honorary escorts of the West team.
Changed positions a little bit, but if you look over on the left-hand side of your TNN screen, that is Bobby Mercer, an ex-star, of course, with the New York Yankees. Let's see if Kurt's down in the field.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the West team with their honorary escort. Former New York Yankee star Bobby Mercer. The OU Heisman Trophy winner in 1971, Steve Owen. 1984 Olympic gold medalist in gymnastics, Bart Conner. The NCAA wrestling champ at OU, captain of the U.S. Olympic gold medal team in 1972, Wayne Wells. Girls basketball coach at Bing High from 1936 to 38 for 3 consecutive state titles, Bertha Frank Teague. The head football coach at Oklahoma State, Pat Jones. Well, let's have a big hand for the athletes and officials of the West team.
Lori Ann and Charlie, a big round of applause for Bobby Mercer. You know, he was just named the president of the local minor league baseball team here, the 89ers, an affiliate of the Texas Rangers. And for Bart Conner, of course, the U.S. Olympic champion, who is also our ESPN gymnastics announcer. We've got men's and ladies gymnastics starting Thursday in the individual and the all-round competition.
And from OSU, Pat Jones, that's probably the best ovation the man has ever received in this stadium, don't you think? They welcome him like he's at home here. That's great. This is the West team entering. We have one more team that'll be entering later on, and yes, well, they're going to take a picture of us here, watching them. How about that?
They are waving their American flags. They're wearing them on their hats, on their uniforms.
And, you know, I think another good reason there's a tremendous turnout here and a tremendous support is I think there's a renewed renewed enthusiasm as far as patriotism in this country. And I think you'll find that very evident in our coverage tonight, live from Norman, Oklahoma. Speaking of the West team, we talked earlier with a member of that team from California. Tom Vano is goalie for the field hockey team, and he says participating in the festival helps him on and off the playing field.
It's helping me mature a lot more because I'm meeting people that I have to, for instance, as you people, I have to be presentable in front of people, and it's just helping me out. It's helped me out a lot. It's helped me see a lot of different ways of life. It's a team. If not, then you're not going to go anywhere. It's unity. That's what this mainly is. It's a really neat feeling to represent, you know, part of your state, you know, part of your country as part of an Olympic athlete, hopeful at least. And it's just a really neat feeling. Hopefully someday to make the Olympics.
Well, it is good training, of course. As they say, it helps you mature not only in athletics, but in the everyday walks of life.
Well,
man, that can be
you
just as
have
tough.
to learn to take disappointment. You have to learn not to win, and you have to learn how to win gracefully. And these kinds of sports help people go through all of these things.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the honorary escorts of the South team. Argus Hamilton, the Heisman Trophy winner at Oklahoma, an NFL Rookie of the Year with the Detroit Lions in 1980, Billy Sims. Now, a family of athletes.
The man that just raised his hand, second from the left, Billy Sims, the Heisman Trophy winner out of Oklahoma, the NFL Rookie of the Year with the Detroit Lions back in 1980. His career tragically cut short when he broke his leg at the Metrodome in Minneapolis in a game against the Vikings. I did that game.
And this is the South team. As you can hear,
and that ovation for none other than Barry Switzer.
A standing ovation, I might add, Jim. And you had football coach Gary Gibbs. Pride of Oklahoma football being represented right there, escorting the South team to the field. There was a tremendous ovation as they first entered the arena just a moment ago.
Well, and as we said, one of the reasons is because many Oklahomans are on the South team. These are the hometown sportsmen and women. They are getting a tremendous ovation.
Right there on the right-hand side of your screen, Lorianne and Charlie, the three refrigerators walking side by side are the Selman brothers out of Oklahoma. Yes. Dewey, Leroy, and Lucius.
They're getting some high fives there from the team.
Let's just hope they don't blitz our cameraman here, Jim.
You know, the Selman brothers, including Leroy, came out with a barbecue sauce when they were playing down in Tampa Bay.
Quite a night here. Full house at Owen Field.
76,014 have jammed their way in, and those are the people that have paid for tickets. That does not include the 4,000 athletes that you're looking at, or the 1,300 coaches, or the 500 members of the media that are here. I don't know. Billy Sims looked like that knee's okay to me.
Oh, yeah. Give him the ball.
You know, among the sports of this year's Olympic Festival is an event called Team Handball. And during practice this week, we talked with one of the South's players. He's a young man from North Carolina who learned about the Olympic sport accidentally while working as a chef.
In Chapel Hill, back in 86 or 87, when they had the sports festival down there, I was working as a chef, and when all the people came into town, I was caught up on all the hype, and I was wondering how it was to be an athlete, because, you know, they were walking around in new experiences. When we got out here, This is even bigger than I thought. It's, you know, everyone's really nice, and there are a lot of things, you know, you can enjoy. But hopefully, yes, hopefully I can use this as a good stepping stone, because there's a lot of people out here I know who are good athletes. And so hopefully this will give us some experience so I can step onto Barcelona.
And the South team continues to parade around the field. And I tell you what, the whole audience gets into the act during our next segment of the opening ceremony.
It's about time for a long-awaited moment here at Owen Field.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just been informed that tonight's attendance is 76,014, a Memorial Stadium, and a U.S. Olympic Festival record.
Well, Lorianne and Charlie, as you look at some exuberant members of the South Squad, somewhere in the middle of that mob is Bill Guerin out of Springfield, Massachusetts. Now, he's on the South Squad because the hockey team seeded so that they will be somewhat even as far as competition. He was the 5th player, the overall player, taken in the first round of last year's NHL draft, and the first American-born player selected in the draft. Also out there is 201 pounds of power-packed muscle in the form of Eddie Donaldson, a Marine Corps veteran, first at the U.S. Championships. You'll see him in our boxing coverage coming up tomorrow and Sunday, the finals Tuesday night, during our 32 hours of live coverage on ESPN.
You know, Jimmy mentioned just a minute ago that the official attendance is 76,014. We just got word that that is, I guess, the record for an Olympic festival, also the record for Owen Field.
The largest crowd ever in this arena for an event, and they're here right here tonight for the opening ceremonies of the 1989 Olympic Festival. I mentioned earlier in the program tonight that the following of the torch has been quite an event here in local television. And to give you an idea, the torch will be entering the arena here shortly. We have some other people who will be joining in the festivities a little bit before that. But the traditional torch was lit high atop Pikes Peak to begin its long journey right here in Norman, Oklahoma tonight.
It's been in transit for 34 days. It's come by horse, by
tractor,
paddle boat,
wheelchair, by land, sea, thousands of runners. You'll see it entering the field here momentarily. Now let's go back down to Kurt Gowdy on the field.
Honorary escort of the 1989 U.S. Olympic Festival.
Thank you, Kurt Gowdy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome now the Honorable Henry Bellman, Governor of the State of Oklahoma, Robert Helmick, President of the U.S. Olympic Committee, and Lee Allen Smith, President of Oklahoma Centennial Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Lee Allen Smith.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight's record-breaking opening ceremony represents the culmination of a tremendous effort, one which has called upon the skills, the resources, and talents of a great many people. And because no festival of this kind can be successful without unusual dedication and support, I would like at this time to express our gratitude to those who have given so much to make it a reality. First, our corporate sponsors, our tireless volunteers, our wonderful, you bet, their volunteers make it happen. Thank you. And of course, our wonderful staff at Oklahoma Centennial Sports. And without the local and national media, we would be no place either. Thank them. And of course, the one that had faith in us, and like they should have, the United States Olympic Committee that selected us to host this festival this year. And of course, and it's last but certainly not least, the marvelous athletes for whom the U.S. Olympic Festival was created. You wonderful athletes. All of you and your contributions are appreciated more than you'll ever know. Soon the torch will arrive and the cauldron will be lit and the festival will begin. On behalf of everyone, Clay Bennett and myself at Oklahoma Centennial Sports, we look forward to joining you all at the games and to share the spirit of the Olympic movement. Now at this time, I'm very pleased to introduce to you the President of the United States Olympic Committee, to whom I extend the warmest Oklahoma welcome, Mr. Robert Helmick. Bob.
Thank you. Oklahoma, what a great place for our athletes to start their journey to Olympic excellence. Olympic excellence at the three most important international competitions this nation has: the Pan American Games in Havana, Cuba, the Winter Olympic Games in France, and the 1992 Summer Olympic Games in Barcelona. Oklahoma, a state with 20,000 volunteers, instilled with the spirit that makes this Olympic festival possible. A spirit like the Olympic spirit, founded on the idea of getting across the line sooner. Hey, Oklahoma, we're really glad to be here. You know, tonight you're putting on a great show for us, but in the next 9 days, you're going to see the greatest show in the USA. That is, these American athletes being the very best they can. Thank you. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce the #1 Sooner, the governor of the great state of Oklahoma, the Honorable Henry Bellman.
Thank you, Bob, and welcome to Oklahoma. I wish everyone could have been standing down here at the edge of the field as we were just now as these young athletes passed by and seen the proud, patriotic, enthusiastic young folks who are going to be competing here. I saw no flag burners among this crowd. Tonight, the people of Oklahoma, a state of excellence, are proud to extend our warmest welcome to the amateur athletes of America, their families, coaches, and friends. A warm welcome also to the spectators from many states and countries. We invite the entire nation and viewers around the world to enjoy the inspiring athletic competition that's about to unfold. The hospitable and friendly citizens of Oklahoma have pulled together in preparing for this great event, as the pioneers did in building our great state from the raw land 100 years ago. A spectacular job has been done by the staff at Oklahoma Centennial Sports, every sponsor and every volunteer. I especially thank and commend Mr. Clay Bennett, Executive Director, and Chairman Lee Allen Smith, and I think we should all give them a round of applause right now. The people of Oklahoma have prepared for this Olympic festival with the same spirit of pride and cooperation that has brought forth spectacular progress during our first century since the land runs, and our second century will be even more spectacular. It's in a spirit of warm friendship and keen anticipation that we welcome participants and spectators of these grand events. And now, as governor of the great state of Oklahoma, and on behalf of all Oklahomans, I hereby declare the games of the U.S. Olympic Festival '89 to be officially open.
At this time, we invite you to participate in a special audience salute to the athletes. Our salute is inspired by the Olympic flame. For athletes around the world, the flame symbolizes the competitive spirit that burns deep within and the warmth of friendships made through Olympic competition. In tribute, please now light your Olympic festival torches.
Anticipation of the torch runner, and everyone on their way into the stadium was given a little torch and 2 matches. Hopefully the wind's dying down and everybody's going to have a chance, and it looks like it's really going to work, and the stadium will go black in just a moment, and the torch will enter the field.
Your torches and join me in a countdown from 10 to 0. Ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. To you, the competitors of the 1989 U.S. Olympic Festival, we offer our glowing admiration, our friendship, and our hopes for
Well, this is my 4th opening ceremonies, and each one gets better and better. This is spectacular.
Isn't that beautiful?
It is
Look at
spectacular. 76,014 mini torches, awaiting the arrival of the one big one to light the Olympic Festival flame.
And it's in the arena.
There she is, the mystery torch runner, and a standing ovation for a lady that needs no introduction. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Flojo. Florence Griffith Joyner established herself as the greatest female sprinter in history with that breathtaking year in 1988. She exploded at the Olympic trials with a world record time of 10.49 in the 100 meters. She bettered the previous world record 3 times during the trials and went on to set the Olympic record in the 100 meters in Seoul, then shattered the 200-meter world record with a time of 21.34.
And to show you how electric her appearance is, all the athletes from all 4 regions are running all over the field, the inside portion of the field, just to see Flojo.
America's oldest living Olympic medalist. To former University of Oklahoma football coach Bud Wilkinson, to 3-time Olympic basketball coach Henry Iba, and to 4 descendants of one of the greatest athletes in Olympic history, winner of the Olympic decathlon in 1912, Oklahoma's own Jim Thorpe. And now the torch is carried by competitor Christy Yamaguchi.
Cool. 18 years old, out of Fremont, California, still in high school. You'll see Christy tomorrow in our figure skating coverage on ESPN. She is one of the torch lighters.
As it was mentioned before by the announcer on the field, this flame does stand for the Olympic competition that burns within each athlete and the warmth of friendship that is made here during the festivities.
Lorianne and Charlie, that's John Smith out of Dell City, Oklahoma, a 2-time NCAA champion at Oklahoma State.
And John will carry the torch around the field, and we anticipate him to light the cauldron. And if you're wondering, this is the torch that has traveled all the way from Pikes Peak. And to give you an idea, you say, well, could I carry that sort of thing? It weighs 4 pounds. And it is 26 inches tall. And listen to the crowd as John approaches the cauldron.
That is John Smith, one of the wrestling stars, a two-time NCAA champion at Oklahoma State. That moment, that emotion, best typifies what the U.S. Olympic Festival has become.
The special rebroadcast of the opening ceremonies of the U.S. Olympic Festival on OETA is made possible by Southwestern Bell Telephone, the Samuel Roberts Noble Foundation, the Daily Oklahoman and Sunday Oklahoman, IGA, Kerr McGee Corporation, Stiefel Nicholas and Company, Homeland, Oklahoma Natural Gas, KWTV Channel 9.
Ladies and gentlemen, representing all competitors, the athlete's oath will be taken by Trip Zedlitz.
In the name of all the competitors, I promise that we shall take part in this U.S. Olympic Festival, respecting and abiding by the rules which govern them, in the true spirit of sportsmanship, for the glory of sport and the honor of our teams.
Ladies and gentlemen, this year's Olympic Festival theme was composed by one of America's foremost songwriters, Oklahoma's own Jimmy Webb. Here to perform Goin' For It is the Olympic Festival Orchestra and Choir, conducted by our Emmy Award-winning musical director, Elliott Lawrence.
Oklahoma. While we were in the break, the athletes took their oath, promising to respect and abide by the rules and to compete in the true spirit of sportsmanship.
And let's join Mary Kay Holloway now. She's a featured vocalist with the Olympic Choir tonight. She's doing a composition by Jimmy Webb, well-known Oklahoma-born songwriter. This is Goin' For It, the Olympic Festival theme song. That's Elliot Lawrence, Emmy award-winning musical director, conducting the choir and going for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Olympic Festival Orchestra and Choir. Presenting the colors of the United States of America are the color guards of the United States Army, Marine Corps, Air Force, and Navy. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and join in the singing of our national anthem. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we are proud to present a very special guest. Through the gift of humor, he has warmed the hearts of generations and brought joy and comfort to countless American servicemen and women. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the best friends America has ever had, Bob Hope.
The entire crowd has jumped to its feet for Bob Hope.
You know, athletes respond to tremendous crowds, as do entertainers. I think we're about ready to find out just how well they respond as Mr. Hope is ready to take the throne.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I just want to say that you Oklahoma folks know how to throw a party, don't you? I want to tell you that what a night. I've clapped my hands, I've cheered, I've been moved to tears. And that was just after I found a parking space. It was right outside Purcell. But I love this. In the round for 76,000 people, they tell me. Isn't it you lucky people seeing all of me? It just bothers me, though, when I take a bow. I wonder which end you're applauding. But it's great to be here. Now, I tell you, I was a little late tonight. I couldn't get in till they got the results of my steroid test. But here we are in Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping across the plain. What a wind. Tonight it smells like Gatorade. Now, I'm thrilled. What a great bunch of athletes and we have with us tonight. I tell you, I'm proud to be a part of an event that's so steeped in the spirit of competition, brotherhood, pride, and patriotism. An event symbolized by a burning torch instead of a burning flag. How about that Supreme Court? I think the collars on those robes are a little too tight. I think it's keeping the blood from getting to their brain. I really do. No, I don't mind a guy burning a flag as long as he's wearing it. Let me tell you, in Oklahoma, flag burners quickly end up seeing stars and wearing stripes. I'll tell you that. I love Oklahoma. Oklahoma, a state that produces as much oil as Libya, but doesn't have a dipstick running it. And this is a fabulous show. I just want to tell you that I stood with the athletes and recited the oath, too. I'll do anything to help my golf game. But this is a great extravaganza. I tell you, this event. I don't care what the people of California say. This is definitely bigger than the Hugh Hefner wedding. Now, I'm thrilled to be here among all these great athletes, but I have to tell you, I feel as out of place as Zsa Zsa at a policeman's ball. Zsa Zsa, she's having a little trouble out there, I'll tell you that. But she did get an award the other night. They called her the best little housekeeper in Beverly Hills. Been married 6 times and kept every house. Anyway, everyone here is ready to go for the gold. The runners, the swimmers, and the parking attendants. They're all ready. And they say the target shooting range is ready for competition. Unless Brian Bosworth's picture falls off the bullseye. Believe me, this is the greatest number of athletes ever assembled in one place during a non-Olympic year, if you don't count beer commercials. And I hear the track team has been practicing by running laps around Roseanne Barr. And I'm not saying one of the pole vaulters is trying to get an edge, but I saw him putting on a bat cape. That's what I saw. Nobody else saw it. I saw it myself. Now, there's a man here tonight who, even in retirement, is still loved and respected, one of the most popular men ever to be commander-in-chief. But enough about Bud Wilkinson. I understand the weightlifters have really been getting a good workout. Sam Walton sent down his wallet for them to practice with. And when I heard there was going to be a flyover, I just thought Ronald Reagan was going horseback riding again. Reagan was bucked off by a horse, you know. He didn't know the horse was a Democrat. And as you all watched the ex-pres doing play-by-play during the All-Star game, I guess he's having more trouble finding work than I thought. Now, you could tell he was a conservative announcer. He only called the plays in right field. But old habits are hard to break. The umpire called a guy out, and Ronnie vetoed him. And later, when the guy stole second base, he pardoned him. But I thought he was great. I thought he looked like Joe Garagiola with a wig. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to present one of my dearest friends, and I know one of your dearest friends. Tonight's keynote speaker, like the athlete whose heart is stirred by the Olympic flame, this proud American is stirred by the sacred flame of liberty. His passion for democracy was so intense, and his personal charisma was so compelling that even Gorbachev caught the spirit. And I'll tell you, his determined leadership put the Cold War right in the microwave. He fostered cooperation between the United States and Russia and created an atmosphere of harmony that could endure through the lives of our children and their grandchildren. He will be remembered as a man of peace for many centuries. Ladies and gentlemen, the 40th President of the United States, the Honorable Ronald Reagan, right here.
Bob Hope has made his introduction. Former President Ronald Reagan, who is now entering the arena with a police escort. Mr. Reagan, our keynote speaker tonight for the opening ceremonies of the 1989 Olympic Festival in Norman. The President has been a tremendous supporter of the Olympic athletes, having welcomed the athletes from the 80 and 84 Olympics at the White House, and playing a major role in the Olympics held in Los Angeles. And the President showing his support of the athletes by making an appearance here tonight for the opening ceremonies. The President, by the way, was inducted into the Cowboy Hall of Fame in Oklahoma City.
Just today, I believe, just this afternoon.
One of his early movies was the Santa Fe Trail that ended up in the Cowboy Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm. And the excitement among the athletes, especially those on the field. And they reach another fever pitch. As Ronald Reagan makes his way to the podium.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob Hope, and thank all of you very much. I'm honored to be here at these opening ceremonies of the U.S. Olympic Festival '89, the gathering of America's best and brightest. Special pleasure for me to be here in Oklahoma celebrating her 100th birthday. You know, it seems like the land rush of 1889 was only yesterday. Now it's not true that I was in that land rush. I can't help but remember a very dear friend in California, Holmes Tuttle, who went to meet his maker a short time ago. And I think you ought to know that yes, he was in California, but he left his heart here in Oklahoma. Now, as president, I couldn't have a favorite state. But now that I'm unemployed, I can tell you I love Oklahoma. And the warm, friendly people who call themselves Oklahomans. This state has contributed so much to the Olympic movement. Heroes like the great Jim Thorpe. And while I'm at it, while not an Olympic athlete, but another great athlete, a special hello to Mickey Mantle. But, you know, I have a special place in my heart for Olympics and Olympic athletes. I recall the special fondness for being at the opening ceremonies of the 1984 Games in Los Angeles. And some of my proudest moments as president were welcoming our Olympic teams to the White House. This festival or coming out party of young people who will represent the United States in the 1992 Games is something so very special. Tomorrow, you take the first step on the road to Albertville and Barcelona. You represent all that is good about our country. You work hard not just for personal gain or glamour, but for the sake of doing your best in behalf of our country. Years of sacrifice, struggle, and hard work for the chance to wear the red, white, and blue. The Olympic movement is truly a community affair. Friends, relatives, neighbors, churches, synagogues, schools, all manner of civic groups band together to help their local athlete. That's the spirit of America. Your determination inspires all of us. And when you're out there, Albertville and Barcelona, you'll be there and we'll all be rooting for you, and there'll be no dry eyes when we hear the Star-Spangled Banner and see one of our own team there on the winner's stand. But I'd like to say one thing here. You know, there have been times in the past when our country and other countries have boycotted the Olympics in protest over some act or political act by the team that, or the country that is staging the Olympics, hosting them. You know, I wish we could recall and reflect on the origin of the Olympics. They started in Greece, when that country was divided into what were called city-states. And those city-states were most of the time at war with each other. And so the Olympic Games were created in order to have another kind of contest, something overcoming these wars. And it was traditional that when the Olympic Games started each 4 years, the wars that were going on between the city-states were called off during those games. Now, I just wonder, with another Olympic game coming up, that maybe we should think about this. And when our athletes are striving for their goals and doing their best in a spirit of good sportsmanship and pride in country, that then there shouldn't be any boycott of the Olympics. We should forget our hostility and let our athletes go and compete. This, thank you. I love you. This is the quality of such greats as Bud Wilkinson, Hank Iba, Florence Joyner, all who are with us here today. And looking at all of you here today, I guess I should say tonight, I know that in my heart, our country is going to be very well represented at the next Olympics. Now, you young people particularly will not perhaps recall that at the outbreak of World War II, General Marshall, George Marshall, was asked if we had any secret weapon. And he said yes, the best blankety-blank kids in the world. Well, from all I've seen, yes, we still have that secret weapon, and it is the best blankety-blank kids in the world. You have honored me greatly by letting me be here and say a few words to you, and I just want to ask another favor of you. Win one for the Gipper. Thank you. Thank you all. God bless you all, and God bless America. Thank you.
Yeah, former President Ronald Reagan speaking words of encouragement and support directly to the athletes. You know that must mean a lot to them.
And the president, you know, is filled with pride at the reception he received here tonight in Norman, Oklahoma.
Sir. And now, to give our athletes a taste of the great sound of country music, here are Grammy Award winners, the Oak Ridge Boys.
Full moons and empty promises. We were only high school kids. We got so close that we closed our eyes to the facts of life. We were married in the spring, but not long before the baby came. Your mama said she couldn't bear the shame. Your dad refused to give the bride away. Beyond those years, who thought we'd still be standing here? Oh, that love would find its way through all those tears. Beyond those years. 18 standing in the shoes of a man, the weight of the world in my unskilled hands. One by one as the dreams fell through, just how far we've come. Beyond those years, through the thought of we'd still be standing here. Oh, that love would find its way through all those tears. Beyond those years. So many times we wanted to act our age, call it off and go our separate ways. Against the odds we grew up too fast. Oh, but on our own, yeah, we made it last. Ooh, we made it last. Beyond those years. Beyond those years. Through the thought of we'd still be standing here. Oh, that love would find its way through all those tears. Beyond those years. Beyond those years. Through the thought of we'd still be standing here. Oh, that love would find its way through all those tears. Beyond those years. Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and I must tell you, the Oak Ridge boys are excited about a lot of things tonight. First of all, we have been bringing our show to Norman, Oklahoma, to the Lloyd Noble Arena for over a dozen years. We have never seen nothing quite like this. It's exciting. We are excited to be on TNN tonight. We've been away so much this summer. Being on TNN is about the only time our families get to see us live. So hello at home. We're out here in Norman, Oklahoma, having an incredible time. You would not believe it. And I must tell you, to be near all of these great athletes representing the best that our country has to offer in youth is an incredible experience for the Oak Ridge boys, and we wish you kids well. An honor to be here. It's always an honor to come to Oklahoma. Always an honor to get to bring our music to you folks, and to be a part of this great celebration is an amazing experience for the Oak Ridge boys, one that will go down in our history as one of the highlights of our very long career, and we thank you for letting us be a part of it. We want to sing a song for you right now that's a brand new song. It's a song that I think fits this situation very well. We've heard a lot of great talk tonight about what kind of great shape our country is in, and it is in great shape. As we look on to the 1990s with a new focus on the American family, we have a song that we've dug out, a brand new one that we want to sing for you tonight, that honors all of us here that believe and know in our hearts that the simple, everyday, hard-working American family is still the backbone of America.
Worked all his life in the rail yard, summer heat, winter cold. He sits by the fire, this year he'll retire, though he don't really feel all that old. She comes in from the kitchen and sits on the arm of his chair. He looks up and says, "Hey lady, I love you," runs his finger through her hair. And there's a picture on the wall of Jesus in the garden. It's been there since they got the house just a little story of an American family. She waited for him in World War II. He fought the European campaign. Their son John spent 2 years, and now that war, it wasn't the same. Billy's out in L.A., he's a lawyer now. They worry he's so far away. Jeannie got married, she lives here in town. They're coming over with the kids today. And there's a picture on the wall of Jesus in the garden. It's been there since they got the house in '53. It ain't no big deal, won't ever go down in history. It's just a little story of an American family. It's just a little story of an American family. Ain't gonna ride no rail or hitchhike down no highway. I ain't going nowhere feeling the way I do. 'Cause my baby's long gone and nothing is going my way. I'm gonna let this muddy water just wash away my blues. It's gonna take a lot of rivers to keep this broken heart afloat. It's gonna take a lot of rivers running all the livelong day. It's gonna take the Mississippi, the Monongahela, and the Ohio. It's gonna take a lot of rivers to wash these blues away. Well, I wish it was a tugboat pushing and a pulling them barges along. Or moving on the water with a heart made of iron and steel. There wouldn't be no woman who could ever take my love and then do me wrong. Oh, I could work all day with nothing in the world to feel. It's gonna take a lot of rivers to keep this broken heart afloat. It's gonna take a lot of rivers running all the livelong day. It's gonna take the Mississippi, the Monongahela, and the Ohio. It's gonna take a lot of rivers to wash these blues away. Is she in New Orleans? Is she a Cajun queen? I wonder what she's doing now. But if I know her, she's got rings and furs, struggling along somehow. Struggling along somehow. It's gonna take a lot of rivers to keep this broken heart afloat. It's gonna take a lot of rivers running all the livelong day. It's gonna take the Mississippi, the Monongahela, and the Ohio. It's gonna take a lot of rivers to wash these blues away. It's gonna take a lot of rivers to keep this broken heart afloat. It's gonna take a lot of rivers running all the livelong day. It's gonna take the Mississippi, the Monongahela, and the Ohio. It's gonna take a lot of rivers to wash these blues away. It's gonna take a lot of rivers to wash these blues away. papa, mau, mau. Papa, mau, mau. Silver, hey, way. Tonight I'm gonna feed her, and the hungry house can pay. I'm gonna give her all the love I can. Yes, I am. She's gonna jump and holler. I saved up my last $2. We're gonna search and find that preacher man. Are you singing? Elvira, Elvira, my heart's on fire for Elvira. Papa, mau, mau. Papa, mau, mau. Papa, mau, mau. Papa, mau, mau. Silver, hey, way. One more time. Elvira, Elvira, yeah. My heart's on fire for Elvira. Giddy up. Papa, mau, mau. Giddy up. Papa, mau, mau. Silver, hey, way. I was thinking how high, oh, silver, hey, way. Elvira, everybody, clap your hands. I heard about a funny friend of mine. He said she lived across the county line. The sweetest friend that ever grew on the line. And now that's where I'm spending all the time. Her daddy Robert and her mama Ruth. They had a daughter that named Bobby Sue. And now she's 18 and she knows the truth. Nobody's gonna tell her what to do. Bobby Sue. Can't you see my love is true? I want to marry you. Bobby Sue. I take her riding on a Friday night, straight down the highway in the Creole moonlight. My Chevrolet's home and she holds it tight. We'll find a preacher and we'll do it right. Her daddy told her that she'd have to wait. Her mama said, don't make a big mistake. Don't make it driving till we're out of state. And when you find it, it'll be too late. Bobby Sue, can't you see my love is true? I want to marry you. Bobby Sue. Bobby Sue, can't you see my love is true? I want to marry you. Bobby Sue, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Oak Ridge Boys.
sagebrush and mesquite, from the Kiamishi Mountains to the plains of Cimarron. Her was a share her greatness in the land they're living on. And the courage of her people echoes back across the years. They carve their lives into the land with final tears of sweat. Oh, the spirit of those pioneers is living in us
We're back in Norman, Oklahoma at Oklahoma Memorial Stadium, Owen Field, the site of the 1989 Olympic Festival opening ceremonies. Jim Kelly, Lorianne Cook, and I'm Charlie Chase. Glad you've been with us here the past couple of hours. Still a lot more to come down on the field. We wanted to point out the volunteer effort involved in this particular production because we'll be joining them on the field in just a moment, where you'll see 1,200 professional and amateur performers. And I think you were telling me overall there are like 15,000 volunteers for the entire effort. There are 1,000 volunteers just to help on the show tonight.
That's true. 15,000 people from across the state volunteered to come help in a variety of ways. Everything from transporting the athletes to doing their laundry to getting them fed. You wouldn't believe the support that has come from this state.
We should also point out, Lorianne and Charlie, that those volunteers are spread all over the state because there will be competition here in Norman. There'll be competition in Stillwater and in Oklahoma City. So those volunteers are well spread out, and it has been a year-long effort.
As you can see, the Olympic cauldron in the shot there, the audience obviously held on to the second match because the torches are lit once again, and indeed it is a spectacular sight. And the grand finale is about to take place.
And the many torches were lit once again. Hey, you guys remember the great Broadway musical Oklahoma?
Oh, yes.
I remember Shirley Jones in the Partridge. She was in that production.
Howard was in it. Well, right now coming up on the field is a production number of the great Oklahoma. Here it is.
In the spirit that will carry them through, and join together is a song that celebrates our state, Oklahoma. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Oklahoma Centennial Sports, thank you for your enthusiastic support and great Oklahoma spirit. As the athletes leave the field, let's give them one last round of applause and wish them good luck and Godspeed.
Well, gosh, fellas, I hope we didn't wake the neighbors.
We must tell you that the fireworks display is not very far from where we are. It was deafening, absolutely deafening.
This has to be the most spectacular performance I've ever seen. This is, as far as a live performance of anything.
Charlie and Lori, I told you 2.5 hours ago, each one gets better and better. This was no exception, right? They woke the neighbors in Iowa.
You are absolutely right. So for Jim Kelly, Charlie Chase, and myself, thanks for joining us, and good night from Norman, Oklahoma.
Next on OETA, Harriet and Guy are reunited in Athens by Prince Yakimov, who is now working for the British Information Bureau on Masterpiece Theater's Fortunes of War. This special rebroadcast of the opening ceremonies of the U.S. Olympic Festival on OETA is made possible by Southwestern Bell Telephone, the Samuel Roberts Noble Foundation, the Daily Oklahoman and Sunday Oklahoman, IGA, Kerr-McGee Corporation, Stiefel Nicholas and Company, Homeland, Oklahoma Natural Gas, KWTV Channel 9.